So verse 5 of Gems of Wisdom by the 7th Dalai Lama. So he asks the question, what is the wild horse that throws one from the mountain one is ascending? What do you say? What is, when you're progressing on the path, what is the uncontrolled mind that makes you fall down? Pride. Yeah, pride, arrogance, conceit, puffing ourselves up. So he says pride, I prefer arrogance to translate it. Arrogance that thinks oneself superior and dwells on one's own good qualities. You know, that mind that says, you know, they always say that at the beginning of the path we aren't arrogant because we don't know anything. Yeah. But as we learn a little bit of Dharma, then it's very easy for us to get puffed up. Yeah? Because then new people come and we can explain this and we can explain that. And, you know, because we know this much more than them, they look at us like this. You were talking about this, you know, here today, that it's very easy to, well, two reasons. One is when you know a little bit, think that you know more than you actually know. Because you may know the words, but you don't really know the meaning, or you may even know the meaning intellectually, but you don't, you haven't realized it. Or lots of times you know the words, you think you know the meaning, but actually you have a totally wrong conception, and that's what you teach to other people, which does far more, you know, damage than good. So what's there to be arrogant about that? In any case, when we're teaching the Dharma, what's there to be arrogant about it all? Because we didn't invent the Dharma. We learned it from other people. Yeah. So getting puffed up, thinking I'm a great practitioner, I'm a great teacher, I've realized this, I've realized that. Look, there's all these students around who think I'm so wonderful. You know, who do we think we are, the Buddha? Yeah, I mean, none of the Dharma came from us. Yeah, so no reason to ever get arrogant over knowing something. And similarly, no reason to get arrogant over, even if we have realizations, over realizing something. In fact, if you have genuine realizations, you become more humble. Yeah. And I really remember here Geshe Topten, one of my teachers. Do you remember him when he came to DFF? Geshe-la, his hair always kind of stuck up here. He was old, his shimdap was crooked, kind of like some of you. And, and his shimdap was high and his socks were falling down. And he had these old scruffy shoes, because he was a meditator up above Dharamsala. Yeah? And, you know, when he would do korwa around the temple, you know, all the young ones, the young monks with their Nike packs and their nice shoes, you know, would go past him, and, you know, nobody in the world knew who he was. He was so humble, so humble. And to me, that's really indicative of the kind of practitioner he was. Even his attendant, Losang Dandan, told me that when he went to Geshe-la's hut, because Losang Dandan would bring him supplies every week, he never even saw Geshe-la's tantric implements or pictures or anything. When His Holiness asked him to go to Italy, he said, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go teach. I'm happy, you know, in my little hut. Anyway, His Holiness told him, so he did what his teacher said. So I was in Italy at the time Geshe-la arrived. So we made him this nice big throne, you know, as a way of respecting our new teacher. And in the villetta, the little cottage where he lived, we had, you know, they made nice china, you know, really nice china dishes and silverware and everything. And Geshe-la came, and he went in the villetta and he said, get rid of these dishes and silverware and give me plastic plates. And he came in the temple the first day, And people were showing him to the big throne, and he took the cushion off and put it on the floor and sat down on it. You know? I mean, this is the kind of person he was. And he just didn't like any of this, you know, kind of, you know, stuff. Okay? So I think that, you know, because you can see that if your mind gets puffed up, then like you know, you're ascending the mountain, then the wild horse throws you. So you're trying to practice the Dharma and create some virtue and generate realizations, but your own arrogance becomes a huge interference with that and throws you down the mountain of realizations. You know, because also when you think you know everything, then what can you learn from anybody? Yeah? And then so of course, you know, all interior growth stops. And it becomes a real problem. I mean, we see many times in the West, you know, people who were nobody in Tibet come to the West and they become somebody, or Westerners thinking they're somebody when they aren't. And then, you know, really lots of things happen. So we have to be quite aware of that, you know, because it not only damages us, but it damages other people. Disadvantages, thinking about the disadvantages are part of the antidote, but also what they recommend when we're suffering from arrogance is they recommend, you know, then meditating on the 18 constituents and 6 sources, and 12 sources, and the 5 aggregates and all, and then people go, well, what are all those things? And well, that's the point, you know, it's actually difficult to understand these things, yeah. But I find that even better for me works the thing that, I mean, I came into this world not knowing anything, and everything I know, even how to speak, even how to wash my hands, everything came from others. So there's nothing to be arrogant about myself, you know. It's just I should be incredibly grateful to the kindness of others, because without their kindness, you know, I wouldn't know anything. You know, it's kind of, sometimes we write a book and we think, oh, these are all my, you know, my ideas. I'm putting my ideas in a book. Do we really think we've thought something that nobody has ever thought before? Yeah? Do we really think, oh, I'm the first one who's ever had that thought? Well, we think that. But, you know, what's the likelihood that, you know, nobody in all beginningless time, including the Buddha, has ever had that kind of knowledge? You know, it's not. I mean, I always tell people working with anger is plagiarized, you know, from Shantideva, because that one it's really obvious that I plagiarized, okay? With the other books, they're also plagiarized. I mean, none of it comes from me. Yeah, people come up and say, oh, I really like your talk. It has nothing to do with me. Yeah, they like the Dharma. And, you know, and that's what's important. I didn't invent it. There's nothing me about it. Okay, so I find thinking that way, you know, very, very helpful. You know? And to remember that until we ourselves become Buddhas, we're always students. Okay, so somebody who not just says, I know what's best for me, but with a very stubborn mind that says, stubborn arrogance, I know what's best for me, so don't tell me what to do. There's nothing much you can say to that person. There's no space for them to take in anything, you know? You just have to, you know, what can you say? Yeah, you have to wait. And, you know, life has a way of making us crash. And if we're smart, we learn. If we're not smart, we keep doing the same thing. Yeah. But I remember recently I was discussing something with somebody. This was when I was in Australia. And I said something, and that person said, well, blah, 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 blah. And I just said, well, okay. If that's how you feel, that's it. There was nothing to engage in any further. Not open. You had the same question. I mean, what can you do? Bang them on the head and said, you're being stubborn and arrogant? You know, they're going to say, I mean, because I think that the easiest thing to help understand this is to look when we're stubborn and arrogant. And when we dig our heels in and we don't want to hear anything from anybody else, then even somebody with a kind attitude comes, how do we act? Yeah. Right. It's very true. If you don't have a teacher, you don't know. Or if you don't have a close relationship with your teacher, you may have one, but it's not a close relationship, then your teacher will not point things out to you directly because they know that, I mean, even a teacher, if the person isn't open, they won't say anything because it's useless. Yeah? But if you have a good relationship and you're sincere, then your teacher can say something. The nice thing is that even sometimes if our teacher doesn't, our friends or our enemies will, I should say. And this is the kindness of the enemies, because our enemy will not, enemy I'm saying here, somebody we don't like, you know, the people we don't like, they won't put up with our junk. And they'll say it straight out to us, which is why we don't like them. Yeah, but it's also why they're actually sometimes the only one who can get through to us. Yeah?